My name is Afshan. I'm a skills consultant, but I'm also a corporate trainer, and that gives me a really interesting and unique insight because I'm working both with educators in TVET as well as industry and helping industry to understand their own learning requirements. I've called my presentation, Did You Invite the Employers? And I just wanted to say a little bit about this, which is that I have been part of so many past dialogues, conferences, where we talk about the skills gap. We're talking about how do we as educators prepare workers for tomorrow. And yet, it's where are the employers? So that's why I decided to call it this. And did you invite the employers? And I'm sure that they are there. I know that they are there. A little bit about us. So Evolve Global Solutions. We work globally. We've supported education, training, vocational TVET in 28 different countries. But you can read more about us when you receive these slides. I wanted to start just by stating something which I think we all know, but I just would like to start at this point. You have here two images. One is a classroom in Tanzania. Mikumi is a very rural agricultural area of Tanzania, and the other is a modern learning environment. It's a college in the UK. But regardless of where you are, the learner, regardless of where you are, the job of education and training really is to unlock potential, is to produce the future workforce. That is really what we're doing. To say a little bit about the UK skills system and just some key points that I think are important to this discussion, which is really about collaboration. The UK skills system cannot work if we don't collaborate. It's a very complex system, has a lot of players, and we have to collaborate. It's really key to this success. We also have to help our learners and our teachers connect to the world of work as well. And I just kind of use this as an example to demonstrate that. So here you have two courses being advertised at a college that I used to work at. One is a level 3 certificate in supporting teaching and learning. The other one is a BTEC level 3 foundation. What this college did was, next to the advert for the job, they also had an advert which explained to students where next. Where next if you want to go for further studies, and where next, where does this course lead to job opportunities? So, for example, the level 3 foundation in science will lead to jobs in forensic science, quality control, environmental protection, and health and safety. So helping learners, and I think teachers as well, make those connections is key. There are the two job opportunities there. Preparing learners for work, also a really important part of what we must be doing in TVET, and providing those workers of the future. So you see here the diagram shows that the employers are very central, take a very central role in the UK TVET system. In the UK as well, we've understood that sometimes some learners at level 2 might need to step off and enter the world of work. So we do need to have these step off points, not make them wait until they've got their level 3. Level 3 would be ideal, but sometimes those step off points need to be sooner. We also have a wraparound program that looks at the 3 E's: enterprise, entrepreneurship, employability. So supporting learners to develop those skills throughout their learning experience, regardless of where they are. All roads lead to employment. I think that's a message that you'll hear me repeat. All roads lead to employment or self-employment. So those blue boxes that you see there on the screen, vocational learners can be in any of those boxes: higher education, apprenticeship programs, higher level vocational programs. And regardless of the blue box that they're in now, they might move to another blue box, but eventually all are seeking to go to the red box, the employment box. And in the UK, we have a wonderful system whereby you can be in employment, move into education, be in education and employment at the same time. And that moving around this system is enabled and made easy for you. So that's setting the scene, if you like. TVET in the UK, the systems, it's free flowing. And sticking with this thing, all roads lead to employment. We do need to have the employer voice present. We do need them present. Did we invite them is a really important question, actually. I'm going to present you some case studies that I've worked on. But before I do that, I just wanted to share with you some of our work, and just to share with you that in our 28 different countries, in the 353 providers that we've worked with, it's always been about developing skills. It's always been about education and employability. So employers and educators are part of this picture. Of the countries where I've had employers, we've convinced employers to actually be part of our projects are these. So these are the countries I was just thinking about. And what I'd like to do is to present you with some case studies from some of these countries, and just to explain the different levels and the different types of interventions that we've had. So our first point of call is South Africa, and our first case study is this. So in South Africa, they had a national ambition to participate in World Skills. They'd never had World Skills before. They'd not had regional competitions. So they wanted to have regional, national, and then take teams to the international World Skills competition. The industry that they chose to focus on was motor vehicles. So the Sector Skills Council, which brings together all the key industry players in motor vehicle, Masita, the Sector Skills Council, were very much a part of creating this intervention. So the ultimate goal, competition winners at World Skills. In order to do that, what they recognized, what we all recognized, is that quality needs to improve in the colleges. So we took this idea of, okay, college XYZ, do you want to go to World Skills? Yes. Do you want to be successful in World Skills? Yes. So let's prepare students and let's prepare staff. Let's prepare a team. But in order to do that, we need to improve quality across the organization. So that was the hook, that was the prize. And it was that prize that then led to a series of improvements in the organization. But I want to talk particularly about Ford South Africa and their involvement. So through Masita, Ford South Africa were there in the picture. What Ford South Africa realized in the colleges that they were supporting is they wanted to have a presence in those colleges. And so what they did was they kitted out workshops in 6 TVET colleges that were Ford South Africa workshops. They didn't mind that other courses took place there, but they wanted those to be Ford South Africa workshops that the students and staff worked in. They also donated vehicles and other equipment. The next kind of intervention was that Ford South Africa enabled and facilitated swapping of roles. So we had a system where Ford South Africa staff went into TVET colleges to teach alongside the trainer, and the trainer then visited their buddy in industry and spent time with that person in industry, improving their skills and just seeing what the latest was. That worked so beautifully. The impact of this is just the impact from one college, the college that I worked with, were that at the end, they did have 300 trained staff for BMW employed, 500 employed at Ford South Africa. A byproduct was that some of the informal backyard mechanics, 6 of them decided to formalize their business. But the ultimate goal, World Skills, yes, they had regional competitions, they were successful. They went to the national competitions, they were successful. They went to international, I think it was Brazil. And okay, they didn't win a medal, but the experience was phenomenal. And they have sent teams since then. So yeah, definitely fly a flag for my college there. Case study 2 takes us to Tanzania and Tunisia. And I've grouped these together because they had similar issues. And the issue was about bridging the gap. So we hear about this gap that exists between a graduate learner, regardless of, HE graduate or vocational college graduate, but there's a gap between that learner and going into employment. And what employers say is that, yes, they may have technical skills, but they don't have work skills. They don't have those soft skills. So we find it difficult to employ them. And in this situation, what we did with our partners is we convinced, we negotiated with employers and we brought them to the table, employer and education provider. We got the employers to talk candidly, openly about what was missing for them. And what was missing was a tailored soft skills program, which we then supported the partner to develop. So we developed a tailored soft skills program, tailored to that job role in that industry. We created something called the Enterprise Passport, and the Enterprise Passport acted as a toolkit so that teachers and learners, trainers and learners could capture the progress of the learner, and that progress in the Enterprise Passport became the evidence base that the employer used when they interviewed the learner. Lots of impact here, but there's two key things that I want to talk about, which is that in Tanzania, the Enterprise Passport was adopted across all 50 TVET colleges, and that the Enterprise Passport was embedded in the initial teacher training program, so that teacher trainees were also developing their soft skills, understanding how to implement the passport, and then implementing it when they're out working. In Tunisia, the employer that we worked with, someone called Van Lack, they have 6 factories around the world, and they produce high-end garments for retailers like Harrods. For the first time, they employed 50 of the graduates. All 50 sustained employment, and of those 55 were promoted to supervisor level. So I think that's a brilliant outcome. Case study 3 takes us to a program called Skills for Prosperity, which is a UK government funded program. But this case study really is talking about government, education and industry talking at a much higher level, policy level, and bringing together a national strategy for skills development. And the results were that, there are 9 Skills for Prosperity programs currently running. I'm supporting the one in Mexico. And in Mexico, there was really hardly any employer education relationships. But through the Skills for Prosperity program, they've brought on board some big industry names such as Cisco. And the starting point is the employer. I wanted to present to you what I've gathered as really good practice. This is global good practice. So regardless of where you are, what resources you have, how complex or not complex your system is, these are low cost interventions which are strong and effective as employer engagement relations or employer involvement relations. So it's really about involving them. Advisory boards or mentoring, work placements, assessment, having employers be involved in assessment, open days, sponsorship, guest speakers, having employers come and interview your students. This moves employer engagement from simple engagement to involvement. So some key practice there, good practice there. What I see as global challenges are that we need to have more TVET education systems that are flexible, that enable transfer across the different streams. We do need to have stronger engagement or involvement and apprenticeship programs that will support skills development. We do need to bear in mind employer distraction and competing priorities. Businesses have got to run, make their money, grow, keep people in work. We've got to think about that when we think about our employer engagement strategy. Got to think about benchmarking. If you're a country or a region where your learners travel for work, are their qualifications transportable? We need to have more industry experienced teachers. In the UK, you cannot be a TVET teacher unless you come from that industry, but I don't see that reflected everywhere. A lack of effective core skills and work ready skills program that are tailored to specific job roles, I think is a challenge. There is a mismatch between education and the resources in education and the resources available in industry. We don't have to kit out colleges if employers are able to allow colleges and educators onto their premises to build up their experience through that. We do have the challenge of teaching in a COVID world now and all the adjustments that we need to make. But employer voice and employer led is still a global challenge, but I think it's changing, and it is, we do need to focus on it, however. So some key takeaways here for you. Employability strategy. So even at college level, I feel that there should be a strong employability strategy as a college, nationally, regionally. That strategy showing what the vision is, where you are now, where you want to be, and understanding the purpose behind this intervention. Building a culture for employer engagement. So I don't feel that we have a real culture that is completely behind employer engagement just yet, but it's getting there. Deepening engagement and moving moving engagement into involvement, so employer involvement at all levels of the organization. So something like the college advisory board type of intervention, and having employers there brings them into you, so it's you're going from engagement to involvement. Having employer voice mechanisms and channels so that you can speak to employers. Bringing those employers into the education environment, letting teachers back into industry, and consulting regularly with employers and effectively with employers. Marketing the values of employer engagement and employer involvement, and having dedicated, trained teams of people who understand how to do this in the right place is crucial to success. So those are my key takeaways. Thank you for listening to me. I'm Afshan, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.